What are the best settings for Black Ops 6? You guys have been spamming me asking for this video, and here you go. Okay? We're going to go over everything, by the way. Audio, to be able to hear everything. Video, to be able to see things easier and better. Along with controller settings and mouse and key settings. I've been playing both, so I will hopefully be able to help you a little bit if you're feeling like things are off. Okay? This video is a little long because there's a lot of settings to go over. I'm going to apologize now. We're starting with audio. The main question people have been asking is the pay to win or the subscription-based audio thing they're doing this year worth it? I'm going to go with no because I don't think I need it to hear everything. I hear pretty much everything there is currently without whatever the hell they're going to do. I mean, it's that simple. The only thing you're not going to be able to hear super, super well is Ninja or Dead Silence in this game. I think that is correct. It's intended and good. So, loudness EQ is still a thing. If you don't know what loudness EQ is, it is a PC setting. It's built into your computer on Microsoft, along with, it doesn't always work with every hardware piece, like some headsets or things won't be able to access it. If you can, I'll show you how to do it. So, as a point of comparison, I'm going to show you when we pull it up, right? If you want to enable it to be able to hear things a little bit louder, like footsteps, you go under your sounds. You go under your playback, you find whatever one is your playback. Mine's going through my Elgato. So we're going to go to Properties, Enhancements, Loudness EQ. Now, what does this do? You're going to see it here in a second. Like I said, it makes quiet things louder and louder things quiet. It's just a balancer. So the button audio, this is the difference. I'm going to be quiet for a second. You're going to hear the difference in volume. Now we're going to turn it on. Okay. So it is a substantial difference. It does help to hear things, but like I said, if you're using Ninja, you're still pretty damn quiet, which I am happy about. I would be glad if this was not a setting we had to deal with. Unfortunately, it is. So I'm not going to just let people consistently hear me while I can't hear them back. So I have it enabled too. But moving past the loudness EQ, regular audio settings in the game, right? I recommend you drop yours a few points just to prevent peaking. Turn your gameplay down to 0 for music, cinematic to 0, dialogue up to 90, and effects to 100. The reason you want dialogue up is because your characters sometimes yell in game. They yell callouts, and it can be beneficial to hear them and know what they said. It's really that easy. Sometimes your character will see a player that you didn't see on your screen and be like, oh, he's over there in the boathouse or whatever. You know, and you're like, oh shit, I know where that is. So the dialogue can actually be helpful. Besides that, I use my default system device. Speaker output is stereo. Audio mix is home theater. I haven't tested headphone bass cut or sucker punch yet, but I used home theater last year. It's very good for, again, tuning to the high dynamic range and making it so your footsteps are quiet, or footsteps are louder while your bass is a little bit lower. So explosions from kill streaks or grenades or whatever aren't as loud while the footsteps are. Just good. Overall, you can copy the rest of these settings for the most part, nothing else. I have licensed music off because of recording. You don't have to do that. That's just a me thing. And tinnitus, turning that on is good. It reduces the whole high-pitched pinging sound when you get stunned and stuff like that. That's essentially what it is. So, good setting. Your voice chat stuff, I'm going to let you set that yourself. Whether you want to have voice chat on, body chat, or your prox chat on, your microphone levels, that's kind of play it by ear. That's a personal thing. So, you can test your own settings for that. Moving past audio, let's get into visual. There's a lot. Now, I want to mention, before we get into the game settings, you can actually change your computer settings to help things pop and be more vibrant and visible and easier to see enemies. But at the same time, my settings might not be perfect for you just because they're based off of the monitor that I'm using. Monitors and TVs also have their own settings. Some are brighter than others, some are darker than others, some have more color pop than others. And you can change yours as well. I'm sure you can go into your own settings of your monitor or TV you're using, whether you're on console or PC, and turn some settings up or down. Vibrance, contrast, saturation, whatever. And that might be a good answer for you. But on PC, you want to right-click your desktop and go to Control Panel. And then go over to your Adjust Desktop Color Settings. Now here, I pretty much only ever mess with contrast and digital vibrance. I turn them up a little bit. Nothing crazy, just a little bit. Some people crank them, but I'll give you an example here. Right now, I'm on my main monitor. I'm going to show you guys on the Elgato side so it shows up for you. If I crank it, it's very, very, it's very yellow, you know? And so I like it to look, you know, good and colorful, but at the same time, I don't need it to be ridiculous and look like a cartoon. I still want to maintain its rough, I don't know, the rough average coloration that there is. So that's just something you can do. Let's get into the game settings now, though. The first thing I want to show you in visual is something totally new this year, which is under your interface, you go over to Gameplay HUD, and you can customize your HUD or change it based off of their own customizations that they recommend. Where you want the mini-map, you want the mini-map, you know, squared, you want to have the objectives in different locations, whatever it might be, you can kind of customize it. Or you can go under yourself and leave it like, let's say you want this layout, but you want to increase the scale of the mini-map. You can do that too. Or the color of your friends, along with, I think you can change your reticle as well. It's hidden though at the moment. Where the hell is the reticle at? It's in a really hard to find spot. Like I said, there's so many settings now. It's actually crazy. It's under Gameplay HUD, scroll down, crosshair, and then you can change your crosshair color, along with add the crosshair dot, you know, everything that you would want from last game. I like the dot, and having larger on does help me kind of just center better overall. I like white as a crosshair color as well. It's just kind of, I tried a few different colors, and it actually throws me off. I'm just so used to having white when I play COD that it's weird not having it. So, that's a whole new thing this year. That's why I wanted to show that first. Besides that, into graphics we go, man. My voice is shot in my freaking, the worst cotton mouth right now. Sorry. So, in display mode, you want full screen exclusive. This is better frame, or better for your FPS than having like borderless, you know. Going down. You want your refresh rate to be auto or to be the highest you can set it to, obviously. The same with your display resolution whenever you play on naturally, 1080p or 1440, up to you. Aspect ratio 16:9 typically for most monitors. Set it to automatic. It's probably fine too. Most of the stuff is totally fine. Reflex low latency on and plus boost. That's what you want for that. Eco mode is custom because it's under my computer itself. VSync off. VSync in menus off. Custom frame rate limit. I have it set to unlimited, but up to you if you want to try to limit it a little bit. Anything else that would matter? HDR, I'd set it to automatic. Most of the time I don't like HDR, but it's up to you if you prefer to use your high dynamic range for colors and stuff. I'm not a fan. Typically it makes things a little wonky with recording and all the software we use, so that's a me problem. But if you like it, use it. Up to you. Quality. All right. Render resolution, make sure you have that set to 100. It's got to be 100. Sometimes it defaults down and it makes your game look freaking blurry. So you're like, why does my game look a little bit blurrier than normal? It's most likely that your render resolution was defaulted lower. And you got to make sure it's set to 100 so it's actually at the correct resolution. Dynamic resolution is off. Upscaling and sharpening. This is probably one of the most important things that you can use. I think Fidelity CAS is the best. We've used it for years, like 5 years we go to the setting. And you can change your sharpening strength depending on what you want. I leave it at 60 because that's kind of like in the middle of the road, a little higher, but not too much. If you want better frame rate, you can change this around. Also, if you're stuttering a lot in your game, you can change this around and test what works best for you. Frame rate, I'm going to say DLSS is pretty decent typically, but some people are having a lot of issues when it comes to stuttering with DLSS. So up to you. I would play with that and see what looks best to you and what you're happy with your frame rate. This Fidelity CAS is the best for visual quality though. I will tell you that right now. It has been for years. It just comes out looking the best. I have not tried DLSS frame generation. I can't tell you if that works really well. It basically says it's using AI to help render additional frames. And it's only available on 40 series RTX cards. So not a lot of people have that. You can turn your VRAM up a little bit. Variable shading is off. As far as your details and textures here, I have none of these are like really that important. I'm going to tell you, except for I would copy these if I were you, if you want to have the same settings, but bullet impacts are useful. Persistent effects are useful to keep on. And then scrolling down, you should be able to pause this or slow the video down if you want to copy all these settings. Where is shadow quality? So shadow quality, you actually will get kills with shadows in the game. You don't want to turn them off. Some people are like, oh, you should turn them off. It does help get better frame rate. It does not help play better. Like the shadows will get you kills sometimes. I've died because my character casts a shadow on the ground that's very visible. You can't even turn it off in this setting. You can under your actual PC settings though. So I like to leave my screen space shadows and shadow quality kind of on a decent middle ground. I don't want to be low. Most of the settings that have a high-low, I leave on high. Anything else, I kind of put in the middle, and it works completely fine. If you were to lower everything to low, you might get like an extra 30 FPS out of it. Okay? Everything on low, turn everything off, you might get like an extra 30. The main problem with Call of Duty, and it has been an issue for years, is it's not the GPU that bottlenecks, it's usually the CPU. And most of these things are using your GPU. It has a low CPU impact. So, you know, most of these, even lowering all of them, doesn't really help a lot with your frame rate, unfortunately. I'm hoping that there will be updates in the future to optimize the game a little bit better. We'll have to wait and see. Or maybe, you know, drivers from NVIDIA and AMD released to make it better as well. Going on to view. Yeah. Field of view. Custom, you know, pick whatever you want. I like 105. It works really well for controller and PC. I like affected field of view. Affected is good to me. That means that it is changing your FOV a little bit when you zoom in with anything past with like a 3 to 4 times sight. Your weapon field of view, I like it on default. Some people like wide. I'm not a fan. I don't run it. Just personal preference. Motion blur, weapon blur, off, 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 off. All these are down to the lowest amount. You do not want camera shake, put it on the least. Same with that one. Inverted flashbang, if you like that, you can run it. It's totally on you to run that. It's not a big deal. I just run to keep it off. I'm fine with having flashes the way they are. It's fine. Besides that, I think that covers most of those settings. Yeah. These are mostly copied over from the last game. Again, if you lower everything, you'll get a little bit better frame rate, but it won't help too much. Now let's go into settings here. Mouse and keyboard settings first, because I'm on my mouse and keyboard right now. So, going here, all of this is really your own preference. I will tell you that right now. Whatever you feel comfortable with in your sensitivity, go with that. If you want a multiplier, go with that. The only thing I will show you that is really important in this is actually under advanced settings. Now, advanced settings is weird because you can change your transition timing from gradual, instant, or after zoom. I like gradual, personally. And I like the sensitivity type. This was an important one. It defaults on relative. I like legacy. And my camera doesn't, it blocks a little bit of it. Legacy is when aiming down sights, your rotation speed is reduced based on your new field of view. This is how it worked in previous Call of Duties. Relative, it says like legacy, but your rotation speed is adjusted to travel a specific monitor distance with the same mouse movement, no matter your zoom level. I like older CODs, and I've played a lot of older CODs, so that's what I go with. As far as mouse calibration as well, I have mouse smoothing on. I don't have mouse acceleration on. Mouse smoothing, it just is based off your last 2 frames average. I used to play with this on in Modern Warfare 19, and I got used to it over the years, and it just felt normal to me. If you want to turn this off, totally up to you. Totally up to you. Turn it off. It's fine. So the advanced settings are all you really need to go with and customize, or kind of, you want to look at those settings a bit more clearly. Keybinds, up to you as well. I'm not going to tell you what to use for your keybinds. I like certain ones that you might not like, or vice versa. So, movement. Again, a few of these are custom, like, what do you prefer? Sprint assist, I don't like this crap on. This is corner slicing. Corner slicing is the lean that it does automatically. Sometimes it's useful, but also sometimes it bugs out and freaks out. It does not aim where you're trying to aim. So I turn off corner slicing. That's just because it acts weird sometimes and is not working correctly. If it was working right all the time, I don't really have any problem with it. It's not that bad at all. I have no issues. As far as all this stuff goes, if you want to change it, you can. I copy mine if you want. Really, nothing is crazy here. Auto door peak, maybe you might want to change that, but the rest of this is all good. This is normal shit. Like, really. Advanced movement settings, no one uses the walk keybind anyway. I use slide and dive as individual keybinds, so mine's set to independent. That means I can bind my slide to C, and I bind my dive to Alt, so I can dive without holding down C. If you want to do that, you can. I still like to sprint just like I would in old Call of Duties with double tapping. You want your sprinting door bash on, you want plunging underwater to free. That's really all there is. So, that pretty much covers that. Combat, again, whatever you want in this. This is a lot of these settings are what you prefer. Do you want it to be hold while you aim down sight? Do you want it to be toggle? Right? Nothing else here I think matters. This is all, yeah. The rest of the stuff is all customizable. I would change this, actually. You can go under your overlay advanced settings and make it so you can ping things quicker. So you can spam your ping button if you want to try to live ping people or to just ping where they're going. If you don't do that, it will purposefully delay you from pinging consistently. So that covers mouse and key. And finally, we're wrapping it up with controller, which I've been playing a lot of controller. More controller than mouse and key. Controller settings I copied from last game. I'm running 7.7, but you can run whatever you want. I also run 0.7 as my ADS slowdown, whatever it's called. I don't know. My dead zone inputs are pretty simple. Nothing crazy. A lot of this, again, is what you would prefer and what you find comfortable. Aiming, let me find it here. There are a few things that will be helpful. Your multipliers you're going to want to change a little bit because some of the kill streaks are easier to play with the multiplier. Like this is probably should be up to like 1. Ground sensitivity. There it is. ADS sensitivity multiplier is 0.7. There you go. Aiming advanced settings here. I like to play instant transition on controller. I don't know if that's weird. And then you want your aim response curve type to be dynamic because that just seems to be the best option realistically. So dynamic there, and I don't see any special what is it? Aim assist types in this game. So it should just be on default. Motion sensor. I'm not even sure what this stuff is. Motion sensor stuff. Oh, the camera? I leave all this alone. I haven't touched any of that. I ain't gonna mess with it. Movement. Again, this is custom stuff. Whatever you prefer. I don't like automatic tack sprint. I know a lot of people do, especially Warzone guys. I hate it. What you do want to probably change is your movement behaviors to slide only. I know diving is fun, but man, slide only just makes the game a bit more reactive and a bit easier to play. So I would not. Most people on controller just don't dive, it seems like. Which sucks, but it is what it is. Sprint restore, you still want all this stuff on. Rest of the stuff is default, pretty much. Movement. Plunging underwater. Yeah, this stuff's all normal. You could set this to free. Look down, move forward to plunge underwater. Sprint, look down to plunge underwater. Yeah, I would do free. Probably free on that one, actually. Because that way it doesn't try to make you float back up. It's annoying. Grounded mantle. I don't like automatic mantle stuff, so I keep that off. Combat, again, this is all preference. That pretty much just kind of wraps it up. It's a lot of the controller stuff is, and mouse and key stuff is your preference on the game. But there were a few things that hide in these menus because there's a lot of menus, and I know, man, you can always search for them, but they don't always have the right names either. So put that on short. But I don't ping much on controller anyway. It's kind of hard for me. I don't like hitting up on the D-pad. That wraps it up, though. That should help you out. Visual, audio, controller, and PC settings, or mouse and key settings. Like I said, I've been rocking controller quite a bit. It's just been a lot easier. It's a lot less effort, too. I don't have to try nearly as hard, and I still do well. And the Prestige video will be next. You'll see how long it took to Prestige, all playing Search and Destroy. And, yeah, they just actually recently buffed the XP because it was a bit low, and you'll see why. So, Thank you for watching. I still have a horrible cotton mouth. Holy crap. Thank you. I appreciate the love. I hope this helped. If it did, consider subscribing, liking the video. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.